Hi, Lara.
Hello, Nicolette.
Hi, my name is Nicolette. I am the creator for the podcast titled You're Worthless, Read That Again, Juxtaposition of Your Very Soul. First off, thank you very much for saying yes to be interviewed today and for taking the time. When I read your profile, why am I drawn to actually have you on my show? It's because I myself am working on to becoming a coach. So having you on would definitely, I could get some advice, and also for other people outside listeners that are maybe wanting to try this new career or want to change their trajectory. So yes.
I love that. Well, thank you for having me. I'm honored to be here.
Thank you so much. So I would like to read a bit of your introduction to our listeners today, and then we can get right into our conversation. So, hi everyone, we have Lara Buelow here with us. She's a certified coach and professional life designer. Lara Buelow is a catalyst for transformation. She specializes in guiding professional women through powerful career transitions, empowering them to become their most effective, fulfilled selves. Lara gets people unstuck, reignites their passions, and infuses her coaching with a contagious zest for life. If you guys are seeing this, listening this, she has this colorful top on. I love it. A firm believer that joy and purpose should be integral to success, she advocates for having more fun, chasing your dreams, and rediscovering your sense of purpose. Lara guides her clients to career clarity and a renewed sense of self and equips them to navigate life's twists and turns so that they can live a purposeful and fun-filled life. Wow, welcome, Lara.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Yeah, Lara, so before we go into the serious talk about coaching and your book, can you tell us what was it like growing up as Lara Buelow?
Good job on the last name, by the way. You nailed it.
Yay!
Very good. Yeah, winning. What was it like growing up as me? So I was born in Germany. Both my parents are from Germany. They've known each other since high school. And my parents had already spent a year living in the US in Austin, Texas. My dad came over on a Fulbright, but only my brother was around then. So, and then they went back to Germany, and my brother was in Tübingen, which is like a small, very cute, small university town. And that's where I was born. And I'm the third kid. So they had my sister and then me. And then when I was like 9 months old, they moved. My dad got some kind of a job, I believe through Stanford University. He basically, the way he likes to tell the story is he saw this poster of like bikes on the Stanford campus in California and was like, oh, I'd love to go there. And,
I mean,
like, why not?
it all started with a dream. Yeah, yeah. I like that. I like that image.
Yeah.
Maldives or something. I want to go there.
Exactly. Palm trees, California, West Coast. The Germany has terrible winters.
Oh yes.
So anyways, he managed to land some kind of a job, but like he was studying like biotech and biology in college, and so he landed a job in California. And then I ended up spending, like I grew up in California, in Palo Alto, California, near Stanford, but we would go back to Germany like every other year. So, but I'm like a California Silicon Valley baby, but I was there like before the tech boom, but then I was like coming of age when Silicon Valley like blew up, but I like went to college right when Facebook was created. So like, .com boom growing up, Facebook gets created, but like is just going like starting on its exponential upswing.
Right.
And that Stanford put Palo Alto on the map, but then Facebook like really put Palo Alto on the map and all the Silicon Valley stuff. So yeah, before I just had to tell everyone I was from San Francisco.
San Fran. So you lived until what age? Then you moved to Denver, Colorado.
Oh, so I grew up in Palo Alto until I was about 16. Then I lived with extended family in Australia for 6 months. Then I came back to Palo Alto, and then I went to college on the East Coast. So I'm like,
that side. Okay. The other side.
I'm a very, very privileged person, and that my family is all over the world. I have family in Australia, in Germany. We have family kind of like sprinkled in various countries and who travel a lot, which is amazing. And then
I love that.
so I've lived all over the US, and then I moved to Denver in 2017 because my husband, who's actually from Mexico, got into medical school here. And then he got his residency here during the pandemic. So that is the only reason.
How is it different from West Coast versus Denver?
I would have been happy for him to go to school in Malaysia, honestly.
Ooh, that I wouldn't want to say bad, but okay.
Well, I mean, that's a beautiful part of the world. Southeast Asia is a beautiful part of the world.
Thank you.
Yeah, so I've done some traveling over in Southeast Asia, but that was in like 2000 and oh my God, when was that? Like 2006 or something? It was a long time ago. I'm like dating myself. Anyways, how is Denver different from the Bay Area? Well, so I really love the ocean. I really love the water. I love being on the coasts. I think that there's something really special about the big cities and the culture along a coastline. And again, I'm very spoiled that way. I feel really lucky to have spent that much time like close to the ocean. And Denver, everyone's like the mountains, right? Denver, you think mountains, the Rocky Mountain Range.
Exactly.
But Denver is not actually in the mountains. Denver is at elevation, but it is a very flat, high desert, and it's extremely dry. It's very cold and sunny in the winter, and it's very hot in the summer. And you can see the mountains, but they're still quite far away. So if you like to go like do all the mountain things, you have to drive like anywhere from 1 to 5 hours or longer. And if your husband or your partner or your friend happens to be very busy, then you have to go do those things alone, which means a lot of time in the car alone. So anyways, it's just, I mean, you know, and then again, like Denver is very different for me because all of my family lives on the West Coast. So I don't know where your family lives, but being close to family is...
Yes, coast as well, but mine's East Coast of Malaysia. So I understand.
Okay. How far do you have to drive?
3 hours flight. I can't drive it because there's China Sea dividing the two islands. Yeah. It is. So that's why
3 hours is a long time.
Sometimes it's like coming from the west to taking a flight from the west to East Coast, right? That's like 4 hours, I think. LA to New York. So like from mine, KL to Sabah, Borneo. So that's 2 hours 45 minutes. In fact, I'm going back flying back this Friday. So I haven't been home for about a year plus now. But my mother visited last February, so it's like, okay, we take turns. Even if I don't come, she'll come. So yeah.
Yeah, that's important. I mean, so how did you decide to move so far away?
I wanted to get away from my parents when I was 17.
I used to live on it's a very important journey.
It is. Had I not left home, we wouldn't be talking because it's a different environment. I mean, yes, Borneo, it's a small city of nature. We call it nature city in Sabah. So, KL is the capital. So, yeah, I mean, you come here to study and to work and to earn. So and then I go back there. It's for my holiday. But right now, because I'm transitioning out from my 9 to 5, therefore I hope with that I have more time on my hand, so I can go back whenever I want to.
Well, congratulations and how fun. I hope you have a good time going back for a small portion of time before you have your freedom again.
Yes. It's kind of, I don't want to say scary, but because it's something very, because I've always been in corporate, so starting my own and yeah, I guess we're all just trying, like, yeah. And the fact that you say here you are a certified coach and professional life designer. I want to design my life the way that I want it to be, and everybody has that key, right? It's all in our hands.
Yeah.
So yes,
it sounds like you're doing it. Congratulations. That's a huge step. It sounds like you've come really far. So congratulations on that. That's a big deal.
Thank you so much. I mean, when people like come to me and say the first thing, because I was asked to vacate my role, at the same time, it felt like the opportunity is like, okay, now that they're vacating, so it's like the universe saying, okay, it's time for you to find something else. And then my friends they were the ones that were scared for me, and they were like, so what happens now until we get a job? I said, nothing. Just enjoy life. I mean, it's kind of like, but then it's okay. It'll sort itself out. Like, yeah, I'm in the last leg of my paper, for the certification. So it'll work out. So I don't want to think about it so much.
It's so funny how sometimes like we're not scared until other people are scared. You know, it's so funny how in the universe it's kind of like one way or the other. Like in my life, I'm usually the one who's scared and everyone else is like, chill out, it's fine. But in your case,
Right.
you're like, it's all good. Like you just hang out and enjoy life, and your friends are like, oh my God, what? So, you know, it's just
Yes.
always trying to hold that balance.
Yes, because they know that I love traveling, and then I have this thing like, okay, like basically for them it's like, how are you going to keep up with your lifestyle, girl? I know, right? That's why I'm going back and I'm going to pitch to my dad. I'm pitching to my investor. Like, Dad, okay, you are my last resort for now. But yeah, of course, I told him, like, I gave him my heads up, like, it's okay, I'm gonna work it out, but still, I just need that safety net. So
Tap all resources, right? That's what my business people keep telling
leverage.
me. Don't tell anyone else no. Like, let them tell you no. That's not the right way to say it, but like, don't assume a no from anyone. Ask them and let them tell you no.
Exactly, because if you don't ask, it will always be no.
There you go. I believe in you. Come on, Dad.
When this airs, I'm gonna tell that to him. Like, you gotta watch this episode. There's somebody in Denver rooting for you, supporting me. Yay!
Come on, make these dreams come alive. This is the future.
Exactly that. Ooh, Lara, that was a good one. 13 minutes of just chatting. So, okay, you said there's this, you authored a book, right? So can you share with us the name of the book and what is that book about?
Yes. So the book has not yet been published. I'm like, speaking of like the universe and like where things come into balance, like I keep being thwarted in my timeline of things, but also I'm someone who has like extreme time anxiety, which I imagine comes a lot from my German background. Exactly. But also, you know, I like have the time anxiety and also try to believe that like everything is always on time, right?
Divine timing.
Yes, except that I'm freaking out, but just being like, it's fine, everything's gonna be fine. So the book is not yet published, but it will be published sometime, hopefully within the next 1 to 3 months of this year, 2024. And the book is called Mostly Unanswerable Questions.
Okay.
And it's my first book.
Wow. Congratulations.
Thank you. I'm very excited.
So, what is it about? Like, mostly unanswerable question.
Yes. So the book is like in like a sentence, it's basically me realizing my life advice columnist dreams, you know, in like the magazines, how they have like life advice columns where people are like, oh, dear Abby, dear Sugar. Okay, so basically I was like, oh, I'm going to write a book. This was about 2 years ago. Because 2 years ago, you know, 2022 was like, what a horrible year. And my business was falling apart. I have 2 very young children. So, thank you for thinking this is funny. I'm very much no. Like, am I the only one who thinks this is funny?
Because I resonate with that so much. I had my downfall in 2022. I think the world did.
I was like, it's fine. Like 2020 and 21 were already so bad. Like, how much worse could 2022 be? And it's like really bad. It could be so bad. So anyways, I was like, oh, like my business is falling apart. I had my first kid in 2019 and my second kid in 2020. So by 2022, they were like 1.5 and 2, almost 3 years old. And my business was crumbling. And I was really, I was like sad and like trying to take care of my kids. And my husband is in residency, so he's really busy and gone all the time. And so,
Oh
and so,
yeah.
yeah. And
Wow,
so
that
I
must
was
have
like,
been tough for
oh,
you.
yeah, I mean, it continues to be, I don't understand how like anyone in the world works. I'm just like,
Right?
how do people have
How
kids and work?
how can
Like, I don't understand how people
how
take
can
care of
they
themselves and do stuff.
juggle?
It's
Like
hor-
I
I
know.
we need more healthcare, more education, and more childcare for everyone around the globe. That is
That's
my
true.
mission.
Yeah,
So
yeah, yeah.
so I was like, oh, this is really hard and my business is failing. So like, well, failing. It was just a lot of slow movement and it's just very difficult. So I thought, oh, this would be a good time to work on a creative project like a book because it
Nice.
wouldn't require me to take like client calls on like anybody else's timeline. But it turns out that, writing a book is just as hard as everybody else says it is.
I know. It's like a 9 to 5, right? It is still like podcasting. It's you still have
Yes.
to put in the work.
There's just so much work and the book does not write itself, right? So like and on and honestly, the writing of the content is not my problem, was not and continues to not be my problem. Like I'm really good at creating stuff, whether it's paintings, drawings, writing. Like I will create stuff all day. Like I'm very good at that. But when it comes to editing content
Ah.
and refining content and really like crafting, like taking the piece of marble and making it into like a masterpiece, that's the part that then becomes the word that comes to mind is grueling. It's like very difficult for me. So, and what is a good book? A good book is a well edited book. So, but this is a very long story. All of that to say, so I sat down and I was going to write this book, and I was like, well, I can't just sit down and write a book because that seems really weird to me. So I decided to turn it into a snail mail project. So me and a friend in Portland who runs the Keep Writing Project. The artist is Hope Amiko. She has a snail mail subscription service. So I receive mail from her every month. So we collaborated on these postcards where we asked people what life advice questions they wanted answered. So they then wrote the questions that they had about life on postcards and sent them to me. And now the book is a response to all the postcards I received.
Wow. That's amazing. That's a good way to turn it around. So you're saying, so how much of your your input in the book, like the introductory, or maybe a certain part of the book is your introductory, or whatever it is that you have written, and then the other part of it would be the responses from the people sending in their questions.
So basically what I did in the book is I write the most part of the introductory piece is I write about the project, the snail mail project. So people writing like how I did the project with my friend Hope Amiko and
Right.
how we did all of that. And then I write about the perspectives that I answer the questions from. So that's like the bulk of the introduction. And then I have 4 different categories of questions. And then each question in all 4 categories, I respond from 3 different perspectives. So each letter has me responding from from a mindfulness perspective, an existential perspective, and a professional perspective. Excuse me.
Wow, existential. That's a big one. Yeah.
I read that on your podcast description, but it is also in my book. I'm not lying. That is all.
So yeah, this is why we're connecting so well.
Yeah, like we're all gonna die. Let's be honest.
Exactly. Like yeah, I like had to lose myself to find myself again. I guess that was the angle that I was in. But it's true. Like, what am I doing here? Why do I even exist? Right.
That's one of the questions in the book. Kind of.
Okay. So it will be published hopefully in the next 3 months.
Within the next 3 months, yes. I don't have a copy in hand yet. So, anyone who joins my book launch list, which you can find through my website, larabuelow.com, will be notified of like when it's going to go on sale, right? Like I'm going to try and do the whole Amazon bestseller thing day of. when I release the book. And that'll be in the next 3 months time. Yeah.
Wow, exciting times for you. Congratulations.
Yeah. A lot of work coming together. It's exciting.
So who edits your book then? Do you have to edit? Because I thought that when you're done, you can just send it off to somebody to edit it for you.
I'm learning a lot about the book publishing process. Even in the last 6 months, I've been learning just like a ton about the book publishing process. And I would say that I am sort of self-publishing, but with a small publishing solopreneur, so to speak. There's a lot of people out there who have started their own like publishing businesses. So I'm working with an author coach who is helping me throughout this process, right? There's been a lot of hand holding, them coaching me, them setting up accountability writers groups, helping me edit the book, all sorts of things where they've really participated. And they also did the entire interior design, which I have I don't know anything about that. So they've really been very pivotal in the process. So they're helping me do all the different pieces to get to not just self-publish through Amazon. It's not just a digital book. I'll have the copy of it as well.
the hard copies. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Oh my gosh. What's wrong with my throat chakra?
No worries. No worries.
Yeah, I've spoken to a few guests who actually authored their own books, and I myself, I would love to write a book soon, if not this year or maybe next year. And I've been getting a lot of good advice on the best way. So some say, okay, if you don't have the budget, you don't need to go to a big publishing company, and then you can slowly work your way. And some when they're writing, the process was they get downloads from the device, like it's done within a month. I'm like, huh? And then you have another one, it's taken 4 or 5 years just to write one book. So it is it's really dependent on that person, right? So if you I don't know. I'm gonna have to see about mine. But I have an inkling of what I want to talk about, especially perhaps because I have this thing and want to talk about worthiness and being enough. Maybe. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and you've probably done so many podcast episodes by now that you have just so much content to fuel a book.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you. You are absolutely right. So maybe it's time for me to pick and choose. And now that I have this, of course, I want to do my therapy and my coaching as well. Okay, Nicolette, it's just too ambitious, but I mean, yeah. Take the time.
You got it. I mean, you're gonna do it.
Yeah.
You're gonna do it.
Thank you, Lara. So, who needs to read your book?
Great question. Who needs to read my book? I would say that. So the work that I do is typically with women, mid-career professional women. The people who need to read my book, it's quite general, and a lot of people submitted answers, from a lot of different walks of life, men, women, different types of people. Oh, can you not hear me?
Okay.
Can you hear me?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yes. Sorry about that. So the people who need to read my book are people who love a good advice column. I'm the type of person, when I opened a magazine or a newsletter, I would read the advice column because I thought it was funny, because I thought it was insightful. I found it engaging. I always thought there was something to learn there. So I would say that people who like life advice columns, people who like snail mail, like the traditional post, creative people who pursue the arts and consider that a big part of their life, people who are masquerading as corporate 9-to-5ers who actually hate their job, anyone who says that they want to do good or impactful work in the world should read this book. Anybody who is obsessed with productivity but knows that it's actually killing them, anyone who has any anti-capitalist bone in their body and really needs to rest, right? Anyone who's questioning their worthiness and about how they want to bring more of their authentic value to the world, regardless of that. Maybe that means keeping your corporate job, but just bringing a different angle to it, right? Like, I'm not telling anybody what they need to do. It's just how you do it. So that's who needs to read the book. I need the weirdos and the creatives and the people who are ready to change the world for like the world that's going to survive, right? The world that's going to get past climate change, that's going to get past the 2024
I love that.
elections.
I love that. Wow, wow, wow. Yes. It's like the book for the eccentric, the black sheep.
Yes.
I love
Calling
that.
all black
Yeah.
sheep. Yes, that is a great way of saying it.
Yeah. Me.
Yes.
So, who are your ideal clients, Lara, and how do you help them? I know you mentioned a bit, but yeah, can you like maybe share with us?
Yeah, I would say that mid-career professional women are my ideal client, and those are typically, again, I'll say it like a lot of people who are masquerading in the corporate world and know that they can't do it forever, whether that means just not masquerading anymore, but still living in the corporate world, or doing some sort of a bigger like career transition, reimagining, reinventing the career path that they're on. Those are definitely the types of people who have come to me to be like, oh, you've done a lot of weird stuff in life. Like, how did you do that?
And how do you stay afloat, right? That's the most important thing. Like, how do you sustain it? Yeah.
Right. Yeah. And speaking of like the sponsors, right? Like, who is going to support you? You know, this is not about being the starving artist necessarily, right?
That's true. That's true.
We all need our families. We need, you know, like my husband doesn't make any money now, but one day he will.
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
So it's like, you know, it's one of those things.
Give you a hug.
Well, no, it's okay because my family supports me, and like it's okay, and we support him
still, I
through
mean,
his
it's like because
right.
No, it's this thing. It's like you I know why I'm so like I love that because that touched my core is because it's okay to support your partner and then to ask for help from your family, and then because in turn you know that that's he or she, your partner, is not gonna, how do I say this? It will be reciprocated one way or another because you guys have already like vowed to, like stick with each other. So it's like it's very heartwarming. Sorry for
No,
for cutting
I
you
love
off.
that. No, it's actually a really good reminder. It's a very good reminder that I don't get often enough. So I appreciate that actually. I'm like, you're right. I should have that mindset more often.
And you reminded me just now on the part where you said I've come a long way. I don't get reminded that at all because sometimes I feel like I'm walking by myself, like I'm here, like talking. Then that is the reason why I talk to a lot of people outside because I just want to get that. I just want to see it from their perspective. Am I the only one? I don't want to say struggling. I'm very blessed, but still, of course, life is not perfect. But again, if you think about it, life is perfect for if you see it perfect, right? And sometimes people around us do not understand what we want to, where do we want to go, and how do we want to. Most of my friends or even people around me, are you crazy, Nick? You have your qualification. Why do you want to leave your job? Things like that, and leave it all behind. And hearing that from you, just like, okay,
yeah.
thank you.
Well, and that's a big part of the designing your life philosophy too, is, you know, I think that what you're talking about is sometimes, depending on who you are, there's work that you're here in this lifetime on this planet. You're here to do that work, and that work will never leave you alone, right? Like it's the work you can't not do. It's the work that you're here, you're called to do it. You have to do it. You have to find the time away. So it doesn't really matter how privileged you are, how unprivileged you are. Sometimes we have a mission, and you need all you can do is like work through the obstacles, right? Every day.
So
and everybody
true.
has their own version of that.
That's true. Yes, yes. Sometimes you feel like it's worrying because everybody else is going on this path and you're going this way and you say, why am I by myself? But it feels right, like to the core, like I need to do this. Of course, you will have those thorny paths along the way, but then somehow you feel called or pulled towards that. So I'm done wrestling against the universe. So I'm like, okay, wait, use me, take me, but just don't leave me. I mean, I trust you. You brought me this far, so I trust that you're gonna bring me through it. So yeah.
Yeah. The obstacle is the way, right? I mean,
Yes.
no one said
yes.
it was gonna be easy. They just said this is the way.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. And it's the same thing. If it's not gonna be easy here when you're being authentic, and it's also not gonna be easy when you're masquerading, so might as well just be authentic. And
Right.
and you're living to your highest purpose or expressing your highest self.
Yeah.
Okay,
Well, and looking at the journey that you're on right now, too, I think that every person who gives themselves permission to live life the way they need to or they want to, right? What you're being called to do, everyone who gives themselves permission to pursue that is giving other people permission to do it as well. So, it's
that
time
change.
to, yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's like, be the weirdo, let your freak flag
I
fly,
love it.
like,
Yeah,
get out there.
You have this vibe. When I saw your profile picture, I'm like, she is that one. She is that eccentric lady that is just like everybody's like wearing gray, and you're that one in the middle, like poof poof poof. Like I'm drawn. It's like a moth to a flame. Like I would be the one. Oh, who is that? I want to be friends with that person. Like,
Thank
yeah.
you. I appreciate that. I am obsessed with bright colors. I am obsessed. But obviously, we're just gonna have to meet up somewhere in the world, whether it's Malaysia or California someday.
Yes. I have plans, mind you. I have plans. Yes, I do wanna. I don't want to jinx it, but yes, I'm manifesting that I will be there. If not this year, next year. So
well, you have a place to stay.
In touch. Oh, so kind. Thank you. I have one lady. She's also a podcaster. She's in New York, so she's the person to invite me for her podcast. I'm like really excited, and that will be end of the month. She's like, if you ever come to New York, there's a place for you.
Yeah, it's great. So great to have friends in New York. I know some people in New York City too. It's just what a fantastic city to visit, and it's so fun when you have friends there. So use that connection.
Leverage. Leverage is not a bad word, but yeah, but you just it's authentic, right? You're friends with them because of that, and now I'm just counting my blessings. Like, oh, I'm so grateful right now. Had I not started my podcast, I wouldn't be able to, right? Yeah, like yourself, like me, when I go there. Oh, okay, Nicolette, stop. So, okay, Lara, what are the most powerful things about coaching?
Oh gosh. I mean, I really drink the coaching Kool-Aid. So I really believe in the power of coaching. And I would say everyone needs a coach and no one needs a coach at the same time. And so like coaching is one of those things. It's like, it's a luxury thing, right? Like nobody has a coaching budget is what they like to tell you. But the reason that incorporating coaching into your life is so amazing is because of the accountability, the support, the resources, the transformation and reflection. They would never happen in the same way and in the same time if you didn't hire a coach. That doesn't mean you're going to hire sometimes we hire a coach and it feels like it isn't working. I feel like everyone who's into coaching has had that experience. I'm a coach. I've had lots of coaches.
Yeah.
But in every relationship, even when it's not working, you really have to pause and ask yourself, what am I learning? Because humans often learn through elimination and understanding about what's not working before they can decipher about what is working. So if you ever hire a coach, you're like, okay, finally, I'm going to invest in this coach. And you're like, this sucks. First of all, working with a coach often is that's like a direct relationship to showing you what's not working. And that's often, at first you start working with a coach and you're like, this is so great. I'm working with a coach and I'm so inspired. And then after 2 or 3 sessions, you start to have this like nosedive experience of being like, never mind, why did I spend all this money? This is horrible.
Yeah.
And it's just a natural part of the relationship progressing, because coaching often opens our eyes to a lot of things that are no longer serving us, and even which relationships and what things aren't working with us. So coaching is all about communication, it's about reflection, it's about accountability more than anything. I work with so many people who are like, I can't keep talking with my spouse about this. I can't keep having the same conversation with my mom, my brother, my sister. They don't get it. They can't support me in the way I need to be supported. And coaching is a place where you can come and just have whatever conversation it is that you need to have. And that person is going to support you and take the next best step forward.
Yeah. So what, in your opinion, what's the difference between a mentor and a coach?
I think it really depends on the person. I think that that's very much dependent on who the mentor or the coach is. So from a purist coaching standpoint, a coach is not a consultant. They're not somebody who's just going to give you advice. So a coach, and like thinking about it now, like a mentor, maybe you pay them, maybe you don't. A mentor to me could be like somebody who has somehow become integrated into your life, right? A mentor could be a boss at work. You're not paying them directly, but maybe you work for them, right? It could be just about anyone in your life who's sort of emulating a value,
the characteristic
or a way of being,
or values that you
or the
would want to
job
achieve. Yeah,
right, or some
job,
sort of professional industry thing. So mentor, I think, is even broader than a coach, because it could mean so many things. You could have a mentor and a coach; they could be the same person. And a coach, I would say, is someone that you hire for their coaching expertise. And a good coach is someone who doesn't. They're not a consultant. They don't tell you what to do. They make it about you and the discovery of what's right for you at that time. And they help you grow at an accelerated rate.
Right. So mentor, it's like somebody who you get inspiration from. In coaching, it's like somebody's like your sounding board, and okay, you pay me for me to make you accountable. Like, move. Have you done this? Have you done this? Have you done this? No. Why not? Right. Yeah.
I mean, and a mentor can provide that to some people, but not all mentors do, right? So I think that it just depends.
Okay. Thank you. So, Lara, what do you say to a woman who says, I don't even know where to start?
I say, book a call with me.
Oh, that's a good one. Yes.
I say, like, you're not alone. Most people have no idea where to start, and that's why coaches have jobs, right? Like, so many of us are lost and struggling and have like 7 million different responsibilities. We're too busy. We're too overwhelmed to figure out where to start. Starting is the hardest step in any journey. The next step, the second hardest step is consistency.
Exactly.
So yeah, I know. I'm like, don't look at me. But like starting is really, really difficult. Like, and women come up like against so many obstacles as far as like restarting their careers, right? Getting started in motherhood, starting in all of these different arenas. So for a woman who's saying, I don't even know where to start, I would say, get your friends, right? Get a coach, read a book, like whatever you can do to create a supportive community around you, do that. And make sure that you've got accountability along the way.
Yeah, that's right. Whoa. Okay, what is your approach to some women that say my work history isn't logical or doesn't make sense?
I say, good for you. Say neither does mine.
I love that. I think you're such a great and bright coach. Suddenly I come, Lara, I'm not feeling it anymore. What do you want to do? This. Oh, then go do it.
I mean, I don't want to be totally flippant about it. I do want to say, like, in some industries that matters and in some it doesn't. My expertise lies in big picture thinking and thinking about like, okay, what lights me up? Why am I here? What am I here to create? What's my purpose? Like, what kind of work do I want to do in the world? And so all of those stepping stones, right? Like whatever your history is, mine is also very scattered, what's the common thread? This is like one of my favorite games to play with people, is thinking about like what is the web of your life, and like what are the common themes even when things seem like they're really different. And then what's the next common thread that you want to have in the next 10, 20 years down the road? So when people are struggling with having like a resume, for example, that's all over the map, there's real people who can help you with that. Resume writers, interview prepare people, right? All kinds of resources for you to really dig deep and come up with the strengths behind that, because the world needs all kinds. We need the people who are like jacks of all trades and who can bring uncommon experiences to their next role. It's not the people who just like, oh, I'm on this escalator and like the steps 1, 2, 3, right? Like oftentimes an industry needs somebody who's an out of the box thinker, who's going to show up with the beginner's mind and the fresh sight to come up with something innovative.
Yes. My dad, he heard me that I wanted to be this coaching and therapy. He was like, Nak is like, anak means daughter. So he's like, you are like jack of all trades, but master of none. And I felt like, no. I said, the reason why I chose my path this way, because I took accounting back in school, but then I'm never one to stay within one. So I tried. So the baseline is accounting, but I tried auditing, restructuring, consulting, all in the same umbrella. And I'm like, okay, now I'm ready to jump into something totally different, which is psychology, which is neuroplasticity. And I think because of that varied exposure that I've had and the people that I've talked to in different industries has actually equipped me to have that courage to make that jump. And because I've seen certain things, of course I'm not that old yet to say that, okay, this is the right path. I don't know, I don't know, but I'm pulled towards it and I'm gonna give it a try, because I know I don't want to say if it fails, but we could always get up and try again, right? Life doesn't stop at 30 or 40, so why act like it is going to? So
Right.
yeah. Mm-hmm.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And like you said, it's giving you a leg up. It's giving you a fresh perspective. It's allowing you to connect different dots than others have, and it's allowing you to create common ground, right? Like, okay, like even the people who are coming to you, you never know what's going to be, and I'm just going to turn this into a money-making thing, for example, like, because that's what a lot of people talk about when it comes to getting jobs, right? Like, you never know what's going to turn into a selling point. If you have the accounting background and somebody's coming to work with you for psychology, they could mean they're like, wow, this person has a background with numbers, and like, I'm an accountant, or like, I have an accounting background, so they're going to understand that aspect, right? Or like your corporate background, right? It just creates a commonality and a connecting point between people that can give you an entirely different angle.
Exactly.
Plus, you're brave, and like you said, people have to get out there and explore, right? It's not like the world is not going to crumble for reinventing yourself along the way.
Yeah. Yes. Ooh, I love that. Thank you, Lara. What is next for you?
Oh gosh. So I'm just getting through, my kids have had COVID for the last 12 days. So
I'm so sorry to hear that. Both of them.
So what is both of them? Both of them have been home every day and have not left this house because they both have COVID.
Oh no!
So what's next for me is getting my kids back into daycare.
Okay.
But then it's like publishing. My main focus this year, in all seriousness, is very much the book. My focus this year is publishing the book, promoting the book, and then starting to host workshops again, because for the last year that's been really challenging with the kids and everything. Book, workshops, summer, I'm ready. Ready for the warm weather.
Bring it on.
Yeah.
So So you mentioned about workshops. So how often do you set up your workshops?
I used to run at like 3-ish a year, and now I'm just getting back into it because winter is just it's often a time of hibernation for me. um, so I just set up some like free meetups. I'm hosting a number of free workshops around career transition to kind of share like different tool sets that I have with people that they may or may not have ever heard of before. And then, you know, also sharing my paid workshops. So I would lead, I'll probably lead like 4, right? Like launching once every 3 months is launching is a lot
Wow.
of work. I'm sure you know something about
It
that. Like
is.
sharing your
Yeah.
work and launching a program is a lot of work. So I don't think I'll manage more than 3 or 4 within a year
And
of
do you
paid
do this
workshops. The
all
free ones are
right? Paid and free. So the free ones and the paid ones, are you gonna do it all by yourself? Do you have a team with you?
I don't have a team. It's just me. So I'm just the solopreneur. I was actually listening to another one of your podcast episodes of the woman's name I'm totally spacing on right
Dr.
now, but
Cynthia,
yes.
the latest one.
Yeah. Yeah. And I was just so impressed with, it just sounds like she's done so much in her life, and
Right.
yeah.
Like
And I
again,
just
that's an
amazed.
inspiration for us. So it's like, yeah, I love it. I love it. Oh my god.
Yeah.
Okay, it's sign again, and
So
I want that right.
well, and to me always, I look up to a range of people, and some of those people have teams, and some of those people like they're just themselves. Like I might be a solopreneur for life. I don't know yet. You know what I mean? Like I'm not necessarily looking to scale to the point of like running a 5-person team. Like I'm an artist at heart. I want to coach people, and I want to paint some murals, and I want to drink a beer in the sun. And
Same. I wanna hang out with my friends, and I wanna talk to people all over the world, and publish my cut up clips online, and publish my therapy coaching and therapy. And at the same time, I do want to travel. So well, that's a lot on my plate too. And then plus you have kids. Oh, you I don't know how you do it, Lara, but
I
you
don't know. I don't
deserve
know how
a pat
I don't know how
on the
anybody does
back.
it.
Like you're doing so much, and you're doing so well. I mean, you're doing a good job, Lara.
Thank you.
I
I appreciate
hope
that.
you know that. Okay, so we're gonna pivot to a self-worth question because my podcast talks about this. So, for you, the question is, how can mindfulness and self-awareness practices contribute to self-discovery and a healthier self-concept? Or do you
I
even
am
believe in mindfulness? So
I
that's
do.
number one. Yeah. Yeah.
I do. I do believe in mine. I do. And my grandfather was a Lutheran pastor, but my parents raised us like without any religion. And I'm not a big fan of like organized religion because that was sort of part of my upbringing. But then I've come across Rainn Wilson. He's like an actor from The Office, and he's
Uh-huh.
just launched his
Oh,
podcast around soul
yes.
boom and published his book around like, the importance of spirituality and religion across the globe. And I've always really been kind of sad to not have more spirituality, mindfulness, and like spiritual community in my life. And so the mindfulness has been a way for me to access a type of spirituality. And I think that mindfulness is very important. I've definitely struggled with depression like my whole life. And I think that mindfulness is a really essential practice for humans. I want to swear a lot. I was like to slow the F down, slow down, right? Like we are not doings, we are not the internet, we are not social media. No human has ever lived at the speed of life that we are currently living. And when you think about the way that humans evolved, mindfulness is like an absolutely essential practice for everyone on the planet. And when I think about raising my kids, I think a lot about how do you integrate a mindfulness practice, because that's what's real. Instagram is not real, right? Like all of this social media stuff and internet stuff is not real. What you do in your everyday life, the people who you talk to in your everyday life, like that's real. And I feel like a mindfulness practice reminds you of that. You are not your feelings, you are not your thoughts. right? Like we're like when you think about like what is the earth and what are humans made of? We were like literally born out of a galactic boom. That's crazy. I don't know if that
Yes.
answers your question, but
No, I love it because again, mindfulness, how do I say this? I just want to say, for me, solitude was and is the best thing that I've found so far, and I've never want to be able to sit with myself um all the way from 20s to my 30s. But after my own trauma, that forced me to be with myself. Who am I without all of this? And like, I long to go home to just be with myself, or just, I don't know, watch TV or YouTube, or just checking out the reels and whatnot. And everybody has their own form of being mindful. It could be meditating, it could be walking, um uh, in wherever, the park, or just running or whatever. These things are all, you don't have to have that specific way of saying, okay, this is me being mindful. All the little things that slow you down, that's already being mindful, and just being present, I guess. And that's how you really learn. Because when you're really present, you can feel whatever feeling that you're feeling, or whatever. Your body might be aching, right? And that's a telltale signs that, okay, probably you're hustling too hard, grinding too hard. Yeah. And yeah. Yeah, you did answer the question. Thank you.
definitely.
What is your heart's greatest wish, Lara?
Oof. What is my heart's greatest wish? My heart's greatest wish, I think it's probably to feel really settled in a community, to feel really committed and settled into a community that also involves my family and my extended family. And, on a bigger picture, like to get to a more peaceful, not the ultimate peaceful, because I think that'll be really hard for me, but like a more peaceful place from a mental health standpoint, of just be like, yeah, don't care so much about what everybody else might be thinking. Don't worry about it. Slow down. Just accept things the way that they are. Yeah, to just be more comfortable with things that the way that they are.
Do you have a mantra that you live by?
When it rains, it pours.
Accepting it as it. Well, why is it? No. That is.
That's so funny. I feel like Zoom is like coming up with all these new hand signals, and now they just like randomly pop up. It doesn't really. I'm like, what is going on? That was hilarious. I have so many random quotes that I like to live by, like so many random things. I think another one is like, when you're going through hell, keep going. I'm like, where's my little
no. It's like, wait, hang on. Let me see.
Now it's not gonna do it.
No, I thought that was not good. Zoom. No, not Zoom. This is Riverside. Okay.
That was hilarious.
You're my second guest that I was that was one guest. We were laughing for like a good 10 minutes, and I was putting myself out of breath because I couldn't. But this is, Lara, let me tell you, I love laughing, because that's like the natural medicine for me. Like, I am very goofy, and I can be professional if you want me to, but I don't want that. I used to be that before, but then, you know what? F it. I'm gonna laugh, okay. But then whenever I'm with my team, or whenever they need something done, or they need my advice or something, I said, okay, do this. But then minute after that, I'll be like, oh my god, did you check this out? Like, and then yeah. So I'm a comedian like that, but I love it. So is there anything that keeps you up at night, or do you sleep well?
No, I'm a horrible sleeper, and I'm an even worse sleeper since having children. I've had really bad insomnia since having kids 5 years ago, and just about anything will keep me up at night. Somebody snoring wakes me up, and then it's lots of just random thoughts from there. But I have tried to make it to connect it to your last question, I've tried, instead of flipping out that I'm not sleeping and getting mad at myself for not going back to sleep, I try and take that time to meditate, like to actively meditate, right? Like, and to, read, meditate for 20 minutes, stretch, meditate until I can fall back asleep. So that's helpful.
Yeah. Wow, I love that. At least you're doing it. You're doing it. You're doing the work. Last question. If you could create a quote right now for you to leave to the audience listening and the world as your legacy, what would it be?
Action leads to clarity.
And that clarity can be the thing that you want to do or the thing that you don't want to do, right? As long as you take that action.
Yeah, I think people often think that they can't act until they're clear. And you only begin to get clear by taking additional steps. So whatever it is that you need to do to experiment with your life, right? Starting a podcast, transitioning in your career, asking somebody out, whatever the thing is, right? Having kids.
That's a good one.
Getting married, whatever.
Yes.
There's so, like, this applies to everything. Like, you think that you need to know before, but you're never going to know until you start trying things on for size. You're never going to know who you want to date. You don't start dating. You're never going to know what kind of career transition you're going to want to make until you start experimenting and talking to other people. You're never going to know what you think about podcasting until you make the podcast, right? Because it's not just talking to people. There's all kinds of work behind the scenes that has to happen. So you have to do the stuff to get the information, and that will give you the clarity that you seek.
Beautiful. Well, that beautifully wraps our interview today. Thank you so much, Lara. You've been so insightful, and I had fun laughing.
You're such a gift. Thank you.
Thank you so much. You made my day.
Oh, you made my night. Thank you.
Oh, thank you. I will let that sink in. Like, I felt that. Thank you so much, Lara. You are such a wonderful human being. You are such a light. And I'm rooting for your book. We're connected, even though we're thousands of miles apart. And when I do come to the US, I will definitely give you a call. I will.
Yes, please do.
I have this thing I have, because when you say it out, it's called spelling and it's called manifesting, right? I'm calling out to the universe. I would like to gather a group of guests for like an event, and then they have a workshop, or I don't know, like a keynote speaking event. I'm not sure how it's going to go, and everybody will just speak their own expertise, what they want to. So I want to do that. So yeah, just stay in touch.
Yeah,
Stay tuned.
let me know. I would love to attend.
Yes, and you have the experience of, setting up workshops and things like this. And I mean, it will be we could start with something small, maybe slowly scale it up or something, right?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Oh, thank you so much, Lara. Thank you for your
Thanks,
time.
Nicolette.
You have a great evening.
You too.
Okay, bye-bye.